Oh, did you pinch your fingers in there?
A little bit.
Aw, Kate. Getting pregnant was not the easiest. Ow! I did what you did. I will give up $7,500. That's gonna stink, but I will do it. Okay, stop furrowing.
I'm gonna furrow.
Brandon, that is how our relationship goes. He has some words that he hates in this world. Side note about Brandon. Oh, it's gonna die. Like our brains. Anyway, I'm not really sure that I thought that they would last for 13 years, but here they are, going strong. So. Alex, I think you should let me be in your videos more. She must be watching the Brittney and Brandon Show right now. Hey sis, if you're watching the Brittney and Brandon Show right now. Love ya. Hey! They have a love-hate relationship. They're frenemies. Welcome back to the Brittney and Brandon Show. This is episode 2.
Volume 1, episode 2.
Oh.
Do we do volumes anymore? Or is it just episodes?
I don't know. This is technically a podcast.
So there's no volumes. It's a podcast? I thought podcasts were all audio.
Yes. I mean, the majority of what we're doing here is talking. So this is the Brittney and Brandon Show, and it is a podcast. We make it available on our YouTube channel where the video accompanies the audio.
Something new every day.
Well, at least it's only episode 2 when he's figuring this out. If you are new around here on the Brittney and Brandon Show, we talk about all things parenting, marriage, life in general. We just like to keep it real around here and share things from our perspective. Not to say we know everything. Certainly, there are plenty of things we don't, but we do have some experience being married and being parents. On this evening's episode of the Brittney and Brandon Show, we're going to chat about some things that occurred this week in our lives, and then we are going to throw it back to our childhood, and we're each going to share a memory from our younger years. Then we are tossing in a fun fact, and then we are going to end by asking each other a hard-to-answer question. All right, so let's get to it. This week, there were a variety of events that occurred, some more exciting than others. As you know, if you watched last week's episode, Eli experienced some sickness. He is our oldest, and he experienced some sickness later in the week. Last week, it was the end of the week, right? Or no, I guess it was midweek. He took a trip to the ER where he ultimately was diagnosed with croup, and later, a couple days after that visit, also diagnosed with strep, and then we began antibiotics. Fast forward to this week, and the sickness continued. We thought we were gross. We thought we were in the clear, and he was doing okay for a couple of days, and then on Tuesday night, we were going to our daughter Charlie's first in a long time. Not singing concert, musical concert.
It's Wednesday night, but
Wednesday? No, that was Tuesday. 100% that was Tuesday.
it was definitely not Tuesday.
It was Tuesday night when she had her
I was up all
concert.
night with Eli, sleeping on the...
Okay.
Anyway, it was Tuesday.
It was Tuesday. My coworker,
I apologize.
who had a child in kindergarten, went on Monday, and then first and second grade were on Tuesday.
Fine.
All right. It was Tuesday.
It was Tuesday.
I'm right, per
Actually,
usual. I'm right, per usual. I just want to make sure you heard that part because he said it, talked over me the last time I said that. So, it was Tuesday night, and we were getting ready to go to Charlie's concert. This has not happened in our school district since pre-COVID. So, Charlie was in pre-K the last time that she got to have a concert, and we were very excited about it. And as we were getting ready, it was kind of a rushed evening because Brandon had been at work all day. So I got the kids home, got them fed. He arrived home just a few minutes before we needed to turn around and go to the concert. Eli was acting a little bit funky. He was acting tired. He was laying in the dog bed with the dogs, which is not totally out of character for him, but just acting very lethargic and not really responding to the directions we were giving him. Not like he couldn't hear us, but just not following through with the directions. And I was moving about pretty quickly, trying to get us out the door, and I wasn't taking him as seriously as I should have, I found out, as events unfolded. And he was right over there at his seat, well, a seat that he sits at sometimes at the table. And he was leaning his head sort of like this on the edge of the table. But there was a gap between where his head was resting on his arm, which was resting on the table, and himself. And it just was like a straight shot to the floor, if that makes sense. And even though he is our oldest, he's not had a lot of experience with vomiting. Here's your warning. If that is not something you'd like to listen to, then skip ahead a couple minutes and skip this portion of this episode. Don't leave altogether. We love having you here, but just skip the vomit portion. He vomited all over the floor. And what I have come to learn from this is that when a 10-year-old size body vomits with that much force behind it, and it is not that many feet between the mouth of the child and the floor, when that vomit at that force hits the floor,
It splashes.
It splashes a lot.
There was no attempt made at going to a receptacle.
Unfortunately, I think it snuck up on him a bit. And I have never been the one in our relationship to be able to handle vomit. When the children were young, I nursed all three of our kids for quite some time, and when they were young and we were experiencing what I refer to as spit up, and it was just breast milk coming back up, that didn't trigger me in any way. I don't know if it was like the hormones and instincts or what, but that didn't faze me. I was spit up on all the time. It was no big deal. But once the kids got older and began eating more solid foods, when they would vomit up that type of food, it was a very different experience for me. And I can deal with pretty much all other bodily functions without being too phased. Vomit is a very difficult one for me. So, in our relationship, Brandon is the vomit handler. Not literally. We try not to handle vomit in our home, but figuratively.
Even yours.
Oh, I don't like my own vomit. No, I just...
You
Nope.
can't even go to a toilet.
No, I won't puke in a toilet. That's disgusting. I want a trash can. We have, well, we don't now, but we used to have like a set trash can. It wasn't a huge one that was our vomit pail. Yeah, this is a fun episode. And now our vomit pail is an old ice cube tray from,
Okay,
I don't even know.
not an ice cube tray. Hold on. Not an ice cube tray. An ice cube tray has the little...
Oh, all right. Ew, yeah, okay. An ice cube tray would be a terrible thing to vomit into. All right. He was right.
It's an ice cube
bin
from
like
a
where
freezer.
Yeah.
When a freezer makes ice and it falls into a bucket.
Yep, not a tray. Not a tray with the little
tray.
pockets. Oh, that would be awful. So, before I go off on a tangent about that nobody wants to hear, that is our
Or
current...
think about.
That too. That is our current container for this sort of situation, but it didn't make it out in time for this experience. So we're going to move a little quicker through the vomit now because I don't really like this topic either. Brandon made the choice to stay home, take care of Eli, take care of the vomit. I was extremely grateful. We both knew that that was the only way this whole situation was going to go down. There were zero possibilities that I was going to stay home and take care of this. If I absolutely had to, of course I would, but I did not absolutely have to in this situation. So it was a 100% no-go. Brittney got the other two children and we took off to the concert. Charlie had a wonderful time. She was beautiful. She sang her little heart out. She loved being up on the stage, which is not... If you know Charlie in real life, then this will make sense to you. If you don't know her, she can be quite shy. So I was interested to see how she handled this whole experience. She did dance for a couple of years. Being on stage during those shows didn't really seem to be her favorite and made her a bit uncomfortable. So I was apprehensive about her concert, but she was very excited to go and loved every minute of it and only reported happy, wonderful things about it. So very thrilled for her that it was a great experience. Colin really enjoyed getting to watch his sister and some of her friends that he knows from various events and settings in life. And we saw zillions of people that we know, and we were able to say hi to lots of people, catch up with some people we hadn't seen in a little while. So it was a nice experience. It was unfortunate that Brandon and Eli couldn't be there. I did take some video footage of it for Brandon, which is of course not as good as the real thing, but pretty good. So she loved her concert. I came home to cleaned up locations in the home, and Eli was resting on the couch. He proceeded to be sick throughout the night. Brandon stayed in the living room with him that night. And yeah, I'm not really good about not sleeping in my bed. I like routine when it comes to sleeping, and I don't have any issues falling asleep. My issues are more waking up. So I don't like to get up in the morning, but he is
used to not sleeping.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's more flexible about where he sleeps, but it's not really by choice. It's just because sleeping isn't one of his strengths. It sounds weird.
I don't sleep well.
He doesn't sleep well. We gotta work on that. He had a sleep study done when he was much younger, but that's a whole nother story that probably we won't get into right now. But the bottom line of that is they didn't have a lot of information to give him at the time other than, yeah, you have issues sleeping, and didn't really give him a great direction to go in, because the advancements in the sleeping realm of health and medicine, or science and medicine, anyway, were not what they are today. So I think if you were to have another sleep study or pursue medical advice related to his sleep, that it would be different now. He's still a little bit resistant to that, but we're working on it. So that is what went down with Eli this week, and he did not get to finish his antibiotics for his strep because he got sick in the middle of all of that. And so today he visited the doctor again so that we could check in and just see, should we continue with the antibiotics, or what the heck do you do when you had started an antibiotic for your child, then they got the stomach bug, couldn't keep their antibiotic down, and still have half of it left. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced that, but we had not. This is the first time that we have treated a child for strep, and I just didn't know how we were going to handle that. So we just got his doctor involved and opted to go that route. He didn't get to see his doctor because it was a sick visit, and we had to take whatever provider was available, but it was fine. So ultimately they just said he wasn't presenting with any symptoms of strep, and so he actually could have tested positive for strep, not because he actively had it, but more because traces of it were in his body. Some people
can
carry
have it and not show symptoms.
And I think that I am understanding correctly that some people can carry the bacteria for strep regularly, but not actively be contagious to others or showing symptoms.
This was my understanding, but I don't really know.
Not doctors, but that's our understanding. So we have opted to not continue antibiotics at this time and just see how he does. The doctor said that was fine, that we could make the decision on whether we continued or not, because it was ultimately up to us since he wasn't showing symptoms. That noise that you maybe were just hearing is upstairs in the room that we currently share with Colin. We live in a log cabin. For those of you that don't know, we're going down a couple rabbit holes here, but the log cabin that we live in has, what are these? What kind of wood is this? Pine. We have natural pine flooring, and that's it. It's just the planks of pine, and what we can see here on our ceiling is the exact floor that you walk on when you're on the second floor. So, fun fact about that, where
sound travels.
Number one, sound travels, and where some of the planks meet, and there's a little bit of variation, and they're not quite perfectly meshed, you can see through them. The kids have found all of the places that are wide enough to stick pennies through, and they like to, one upstairs, one downstairs, drop pennies. Oh gosh, we're going to get to what that noise is. But drop pennies through the the space. So that's just a fun fact about our house, I guess. But that noise you're hearing is Hank. He is in his crate upstairs in Colin's room, which is where we also stay until our master bedroom is done. And he just goes about in circles. He typically sleeps on his back with all of his legs in the air. But he does this series of like moving at different times as he's settling in. And when he moves about, that is the noise that his crate makes. So here he is moving again. Hopefully he's going to settle so that you're not listening to all that noise in the background. But we keep it real around here, so I'm not going to edit these things out because it's just real life. And while it would be fun for some to watch a perfectly polished show, that is not reality. And that is really what we are here to do, is share reality with you. The good, the bad, the ugly, the messy, all of it. All right, so I think we're moving on. What else happened this week? We had a birthday in the house. Today, actually, the day that we're filming, is Charlie's 8th birthday. It's absolutely insane to think that she's 8. How do you feel about that?
Old.
Old, that's his response. I don't feel old. I feel like it's surreal that she was born 8 years ago. We'll save for another vlog, because it's probably a vlog or an episode all. Charlie's birth was interesting, and her birth was intense. It was not anything that we foresaw coming, so the events surrounding her birth were traumatizing and life-changing. And I think there's just so much that goes along with her birth that we'll save that for an episode of its own. If you're interested in hearing, I personally am at a point where I'm comfortable sharing her birth story. How do you feel about sharing her birth story? Not now, but...
Yeah, I'm good with that.
So, if you're interested in hearing her birth story, let us know in the comments, and I think that we'd be happy to share it with you. But, like I said, we'll save that for a different day, because it is its own episode for sure. But she's 8 today. She's doing wonderfully. She's a very healthy 8-year-old. We are amazed by her and her resilience, and just knowing where she came from at birth. She's an incredible little human. And of course we would say that because we are her parents, so we are biased, but watching her grow and watching her become this little lady in the world, and see what she likes and her interests and hobbies and aspirations for her future, it's a really beautiful thing to see. So it is bittersweet to watch her turn 8. So sweet, because of course we are watching her grow, and that is an amazing thing, but bitter because it's hard. It's hard to watch your babies grow. If you're a mom watching this, then you probably are feeling what I am feeling. This guy, on the other hand, he doesn't think it's as hard. He just feels old.
Yeah, I mean...
It doesn't feel hard at all for you, though, to watch her just get older and bigger all the time, and to know that she's that much closer to moving out and not being in our house every day.
She's 8. Still 10 more years of...
What is he doing?
Chewing on something.
Oh, there's a bone in there. He's probably going nuts because he can hear us talking down here. He's not settling. I think you're gonna have to go get him. We can't have that much noise in the background. Okay, stop furrowing.
Don't. I'm gonna furrow. Let me furrow.
Let's massage. Brow massage. It's a brow massage.
No, just...
He doesn't want a brow massage.
Hands are cold. God.
We are back from a brief, unplanned intermission where we let Hank out because I think hearing us talking down here was making him not willing to settle down. So he's now behind us in the dog bed.
Don't draw attention to him.
Don't draw attention to him. Okay, well, anyway, he's back there. Now he's over there. Okay. So, Charlie's 8th birthday. I want to share with you some of the things that we do to celebrate our kids' birthdays. We don't do big parties. We don't really do any organized party, which probably sounds really different than what some families do for birthdays, but this is what has been working for us. Prior to COVID, we did have a larger gathering with friends and family for each of the kids' birthdays, and since COVID, our priorities have just changed a little bit, and how we choose to handle celebrations in our home has changed, and we keep it a little more intimate and focus on just our immediate family of 5. And my sister does also join us for a lot of our events, so she and I are very close, so we're not opposed to having family join us, but it just works out better for us to celebrate this way and for it to be low key, and we're enjoying it. The kids seem to be enjoying it too. We do typically celebrate with Brandon's family on Saturday nights when we see them. I don't think we mentioned in episode 1 that we have dinner with Brandon's family most Saturday nights. So the Saturday following someone's birthday, we typically will celebrate that person that following Saturday. So anyway.
Hank
Hank is pooping in the house.
Hank!
We are back from another intermission.
Because of Hank.
I'm using the word intermission because it sounds fancy, but in reality, they're just interruptions. And this is going to make this whole experience a little bit disjointed, hopefully not so much for you as it is for us living it in live time, but I am thankful that I prefaced this whole Brittney and Brandon show by telling you that we're just keeping it real around here, and this is real life. Even though our kids have gone to bed and that is the time that we choose to film, because the idea is that there would be less interruptions, clearly there are still some interruptions. So let's get back to it. We were discussing Charlie's birthday and how we choose to celebrate birthdays in general around here. And it changes a little bit from year to year, but what we have done this year, for the first time we have put streamers outside of each child's door for their birthdays. And we just kind of covered the doorway, so when they open their door in the morning, they've got to walk through the streamers, and that has been a lot of fun. It was a big surprise for Eli. He is the first one in the new year, like after January, to have a birthday. His birthday is in February, Charlie is in March, and Colin is in April. I am a numbers person and love patterns, so I really love that my oldest child is in February, my middle in March, and my youngest in April. It just gives me great satisfaction. And we planned our children, but getting pregnant was not the easiest for us. And so we certainly were not planning their birth months. We were just aiming to become pregnant and have a healthy baby, which we were able to do 3 times, which was wonderful. But it just was luck, fate, whatever you want to call it, that their births were in the order that they were in. So it was a big surprise for Eli because his birthday was first in the season, if you will. And Charlie kind of expected it for her birthday, but even though she expected it, I also knew that she was really looking forward to it, so we opted to follow through with that. With her birthday, I also bought a little birthday banner at Walmart. I used to Cricut and print a birthday banner for them each year that was specific to the theme of their party, and I really did love doing that for them. We're just in a different stage and phase of life, so I don't do that anymore. So I just bought one at Walmart. It was a few dollars. It was fine. So we use that banner for Eli's birthday, again for Charlie's, and we'll use it again for Colin's. It's mostly a gender neutral set of colors. And we've been getting them the blow up numbers for their birthdays. And so Charlie got an 8, and we decide on where we're going to hang that around the house. So we do a couple of little things to decorate the house the night before that they get to wake up to and be surprised by. And then their gifts are out on the counter. And with Eli, I put all of his gifts out. With Charlie, I withheld her most exciting gift, an iPod, and left a pair of headphones, but let her wonder why those headphones were there. I didn't really give her a lot of insight behind that. She is usually downstairs in the morning before I am. Brandon is downstairs typically before all of us. Again, those sleeping issues. So the plan was she would come down, he would kind of lead her astray and say he didn't really know why I had left those headphones out for her and that sort of thing. So that is what we did. And then when I got up, I just nonchalantly said, "Hey, we have another gift for you," and handed her iPod to her, and she was very excited. So she got an iPod for her birthday. She got a little Squishmallow hedgehog backpack. She adores hedgehogs and the color red. We didn't get her anything red, I don't think, for her birthday this year, but those are some of her favorites. So, and what else? Oh, she got her ears pierced. Well, one ear pierced. That's also another story. And a few other little things, but those are the bigger things that she received for her 8th birthday. And then we do the night of the birthday. Our children get to pick where they would like to have dinner from. We typically get it and bring it home. We're all a little bit more comfortable enjoying a meal together at home. I think that is a result of COVID. We used to go out to eat a little bit more prior to COVID, and once COVID happened and we were doing the whole like to-go order thing that became popular, we just were like, hey, this is really great. And so even though COVID restrictions are pretty much gone these days, my preference, and I know Eli's for sure, is to just get food and eat it at home. Do you have a preference?
Definitely eat it at home.
Definitely eat it at home. I'm talking a lot tonight.
You
You're
are.
just like sitting there. I feel bad.
It's okay.
You want to say anything?
I just generally don't like being in public, so.
This is true about Brandon. He's not really a public dude.
Yeah.
So Charlie got to pick her birthday dinner. It got a little bit tangled this evening. It's not really a great word, but it didn't quite go as smoothly choosing dinner as we would have wanted, but she ended up getting some barbecue chicken pizza from a store local to our house, and she really loves that pizza, so she was quite excited about that. And then we were going to do an ice cream cake for her. I do enjoy baking, but I don't do it all that often, and I don't bake well under pressure. So we used to be very extravagant about the kids' birthday cakes, and we would teamwork baking and decorating them. And what are your eyes about?
We did not teamwork making the cake.
Elaborate, sir.
I made the cake.
Entirely on your own, and I never had anything to do with it?
I mean, you came up with the idea, and I made it.
Brandon, that is how our relationship goes. Any house project that you do, I'm the designer, and you're the implementer.
Okay, so when you said we made
That's
a cake,
still we. Have you not seen Chip
That's
and... Wait,
we.
have you not seen
No,
Chip
do
and
not
JoJo?
reference Chip and JoJo.
Chip and JoJo. He has some words that he hates in this world. Side note about Brandon. He dislikes it greatly when I refer to Chip and Joanna Gaines as Chip and JoJo.
Okay.
He also
So-
hates the word wedges, as in the style of women's shoe that was popular like 2008-ish, right around late 2000s. Does not like wedges.
Okay.
Pea
so
coat. He also cannot stand the word pea coat. And so there was a period of time where I owned a pea coat that I loved very much, and also a pair of wedges. Those two things don't go together, but just to get him going, I would say, I'm going to go out in my pea coat and wedges now.
anyway,
He has a few other words too, but I can't think of them right now. I'll let you know later. Probably not in this episode, but later. Okay.
what were we actually talking about?
Don't you wish that they could chime in live time and remind us? Because that would be really helpful. Why are
What
you?
were we at? Vibrating.
Okay.
Oh, it's because it's about to die.
Oh, it's gonna die. Like our brains.
What were we actually talking about? Oh,
Chip and
cakes.
JoJo. Oh, cakes.
And Chip and JoJo.
And Chip and JoJo. How I design, you implement. Cakes.
Oh, that's from, like, the physical making of it. I did it. You said, I want this. I made it. So I made it. I made the cakes.
This might be mostly true. He does indeed bake the cake. He, dumps it out of the box with the egg and the oil or the water or whatever it calls for, butter sometimes. And then he bakes it. He does a beautiful job. And then he typically ices it. I am good when the fondant comes into play. I have done a lot of the actual creations with the fondant. Like that year that we did ladybugs for Charlie, I rolled all the little antennae out. Antennae? Is it?
Fondant's stupid.
He thinks fondant's stupid. It doesn't really taste that great. It's a very weird texture. I still actually have those flowers that were on our wedding cake that are they're in this china cabinet that's lighting up back there.
Very.
I gotta grab one and show you.
These are old.
They're old. They're almost 13 years old.
Huh. Forgot that those were made of once edible things.
Once edible things, he says. Oh, that one got turned around. Okay, let's see how well I can show you this. But so these tiger lilies were made. The petals are made of fondant, and these little black-eyed Susans.
I think so.
These are also made from fondant. These are in July. They will be 13 years old, and they are still.
Lick one, but they're dusty.
Yeah, no, don't lick
See,
them.
they still tasted like sugar.
They're still really, for 13 years old, being made of fondant.
Hard as a rock.
They're looking pretty good. I'm going to put them back before we experience any damage because that would make me really sad. Gentle. We don't need to break it. They have edible glitter on them, like a shiny, glimmery glitter, and the little black dots were made from something that was edible too. So anyway, I'm not really sure that I thought that they would last for 13 years, but here they are going strong. So back to the china cabinet.
Yeah, so anyway, you do fondant because it's stupid.
We do fondant because it's stupid.
No, you do that because I have no patience for that, and I do everything else with the cake.
But we haven't done that in a couple years.
Thank God.
We've opted for store-bought over the last couple of years, and the kids have actually been preferring ice cream cakes. I also make a pretty fantastic Oreo milkshake, in my opinion, the best in all the land. There's a short about it on the Bee's Business if you'd like to see it and see the ingredients. I'll leave that link in the description box for you. But so we give them an option between a couple of different things, and Eli and Charlie both chose an Oreo ice cream cake, which worked out fine for Eli's birthday, and then tonight it didn't quite work out right for a couple of various reasons, and so we owe Charlie an Oreo ice cream cake. But in lieu of that, we did do Oreo milkshakes tonight, which she still found quite delicious. We didn't quite have enough Oreos for them because that wasn't our original plan for the evening, but we made do with what we had, and she was a happy little camper, and I know that she's going to have wonderful memories of her birthday. And I share this with you because there's so much pressure around birthdays and events, particularly pertaining to our children, and the need for them to be perfect. And this idea that if they're not perfect, that we are subpar as parents for not providing that perfect experience and creating these perfect memories. And that is just unrealistic. It is I used to put the pressure on myself for everything to be perfect, every decoration to be set out just so. I had the plate that guests would sign in Sharpie, and then we would bake it in the oven after. Or I had the hat for the race car birthday, and everybody would sign the hat. Just all the things. I would spend a month, 6 weeks before a birthday, planning, Pinteresting everything. And were the events beautiful? Absolutely. And did our children have wonderful memories from the experience? Absolutely. But was it also very stressful for me? Absolutely. And that's a lot of weeks to be under stress, in addition to working my typical job and wearing all the other hats that I wear.
For each kid.
For each kid. And since they are February, March, April, back to back, you can envision how that works mathematically. If I'm prepping 6 weeks in advance, that means there's some overlap kid to kid, because none of their birthdays are more than, well, I guess Eli and Charlie are 8 weeks apart, because Eli's in the beginning of February, Charlie's at the end. But anyway, there's not a ton of time between each of their birthdays. So that just wasn't sustainable for me, and I had to let it go. And it was hard for me to do that because I felt like I was giving up that perfect experience for them, and I felt that did make me subpar as their mom in a lot of ways. And then I felt like we were subpar for not giving them birthday parties when COVID had kind of not moved along, but became more manageable. I felt like the expectation was that we go back to having these big birthday parties, and it just wasn't in me. I just didn't feel like that was what I wanted to do for our family. So I'm really glad that we went with what worked for us, even though that was not the hype or the norm or the typical thing that families would do. It works for us, and I know our kids are happy and are making happy memories that will last them for years, and that's what it's all about. So my little piece of parenting advice in tonight's episode is do what works for your family. Worry less about expectations and pressures, outside pressures, societal norms, and do away with that idea of things needing to be perfect, because ultimately you're just bringing undue stress onto yourself that isn't healthy, isn't necessary, and is not increasing the positivity of the experience for your child. So do away with that. Do what works for your family, create your own traditions, and those are going to be arguably more special to your children because they will be unique. It won't be what every other kid experienced. It will be specific to your family. So that's my advice around birthdays. Okay, that's a general recap on our week, and now we are moving on to our childhood memories. Would you like to share your childhood memory? Or would you like me to go first?
You could go. You go.
All right. You don't have to tell me twice to go ahead and talk.
I know.
I do talk a lot. Might be where Charlie gets it. And I get it from my grandmother.
Gift of gab.
We do. The women on my side of the family, we do have the gift of gab. Hence the birth of the Brittney and Brandon Show, because it certainly wasn't his idea.
It'd be much shorter.
Like 3 minutes. We did this, this, and this. Bye. See you next week.
No details. Brief, concise, to the point.
Let's throw it back now to about 4-year-old Brittney.
The 90s.
The 90s, the early 90s. Not to give you my exact age because...
She was born in 90.
Thanks. He just talked about my age. I did not give you permission to share my age.
She's 32.
My lord. Talking about a woman's age. You know, he's been married to me for 13 years, almost. You would think that he would know.
What's wrong with your age?
It's just a number. We're moving on. So, early 90s, Brittney's about 4 at the time of this occasion. My grandparents were very involved when I was younger, and so this is my paternal set of grandparents. That grandmother is still living. She is my only living grandparent and has been since I was 12. I lost both of my grandfathers 5 weeks apart when I was 8, and then my maternal grandmother when I was 12. And so I have one remaining grandmother now, but my paternal grandparents were very involved in my life, my day-to-day life when I was younger. Spent a lot of time with them. They did a lot of like the pick-up, drop-off from school and that sort of thing. And this was a little bit like, I was in preschool at this point, but not full-time school. So I don't have any first-hand memories of this experience because it was so early on in my life, but I've been told the story enough times to feel like I have first-hand memories. Isn't that a weird thing when you don't actually have memories of it, but you have memories of people telling you about something, and so then you feel as though you have memories of doing it? It's a very weird sensation to me because this is not the only story like this, but it's the only one I'm going to share for today. My grandmother was watching me on this particular day. My grandfather was at work. My dad was working. He was working a security job at a local mall, and my grandmother was shopping with me at this local mall. And I was riding in a stroller, and my grandmother was pushing me throughout the store, and my dad happened to catch sight of her, realized that she was shopping there, and popped into the store to come say hi to me during his shift. And they talked for a moment, and then when they looked into the stroller to pay attention to me, I was not there. This ensued panic in my grandmother, for certain, because as she's expressed to me since this happened, she was terrified, one, that I was lost, but two, that she was the reason I was lost, and that here my father is realizing that I'm missing and his mother is the reason I'm missing. So she is panicking twofold. My dad panics because he's working a security job, so he has some insight into what that side of life looks like. So in his panic, he radios to lock all of the entrances and exits, which I guess are the same thing. So the mall is locked. Nobody in, nobody out. Brittney is missing. Little tiny Brittney. My father and my grandmother and a multitude of other people are now calling for Brittney. Brittney, Brittney, looking for me. And I'm nowhere to be found. I'm not. They can't hear me, they can't see me, they can't find me. So they travel about this store that my grandmother's in. There are people checking other parts of the mall. It's not a super huge mall, but it's a good size. And after quite some time of searching for me and being panicked, and of course the panic increasing because while the doors are locked and nobody's in or out at this point, who knows what could have happened prior to them realizing that I was missing and getting the doors locked. So I'm sure all of these thoughts are going through their minds because now that I'm a parent myself, I can imagine what this would feel like. And my grandmother had this instinct. She gets a lot of those, and they're pretty on point. So she tells me that she had an instinct to check in this clothing rack where she had the stroller next to. It was a circular clothing rack. You don't find them in a ton of stores anymore, but I know you know what I'm talking about. Well, she pulled some of the clothing apart on this circular clothing rack, and lo and behold, there was my little face looking up at her. And when she pulled those clothes apart, I looked at her in a very calm voice. I just said, "Boo!" And my grandmother coaxed me out, got me back into the stroller, told my father that I had been found, and then proceeded to have feelings about the fact that I thought it was all a game. But the bottom line of the story is I had been found, and from then on was heavily advised not to hide, period, but especially not in the circle of clothing. And if I did choose to hide, I really needed to respond when I heard my name over and over again because I was scaring people who loved me. So there were lessons for young Brittney, and there were lessons for my grandmother and my dad. But in the end, nobody was harmed, everything was fine, and we moved on. But it is a story that is told and retold many times in my family. I have heard it a number of times. Our children have now heard it, and now you get to hear it. So those are some of the antics of young Brittney. What is your childhood story that you're going to share?
So, I am the middle child. Then I was still the middle child then. My sister was born young. So, I have an older brother, younger sister. And we grew up in a trailer park with a large hill.
I know this story.
Yeah. So we moved there from there when I was 8. So I was probably 6 or 7 years old. This big hill was, I don't know why my parents let us go down this hill so often.
I'm surprised about this too because his mom is a very safe person.
Yeah.
She is very interested in safety. She takes safety very seriously.
So the fact that I could go flying down that hill before I was 8, I'm now questioning my parents' parenting. Anyway, so so large hill. It seemed a lot bigger when I was 6 or 7, but anyway, it was still a big hill.
Large hill, small child.
Yeah. So no training wheels or anything. So my brother.
Yeah, you didn't say bike yet. So large hill, small child, add wheels into
on
this.
A bicycle. No training wheels. My brother, who was 4 years older than me, was more stable on a bike, and we very often went down this hill, like, just to see how fast we could go. And at the bottom of the hill, if you didn't turn with the road, you hit dirt, like gravel. So when you're going fast with gravity, hit dirt on a bicycle,
not so
doesn't.
good.
Front tires do this and you fall. So I ended up going over the handlebars, slid on my face, scunned my face all up, and my brother proceeds to leave me at the bottom of the hill.
Crying, right?
Crying. I'm a mess. Bloody, crying. To go get my parents so luckily we just lived at the top of the hill, but
I'm sure it seemed like a long distance.
It still seemed like a big hill, like I said. Yeah, so, and icing on the cake, I had T-ball pictures that same day.
I forgot that part.
Yeah. So I had a variety of fat lips and cuts on my face, and
I wonder if your mom has that picture still.
I don't know.
We'll have to ask her.
But yeah, I was left at the bottom of the hill, bloody.
Wasn't
in a pile
one of your brother's friends
dirt.
Involved too, and they both went back instead of one staying with you?
Yeah. It was just some other kids in the trailer park.
Okay.
We were all like roughly in that age. There might have been more than just one friend. I don't know. It might have been like 4 of us, but they all left. The point is that they left me at the bottom of the hill.
They left the bloody, crying,
in a pile,
injured child
in a pile of dirt,
alone
at the bottom of the hill, off the side of the road. Luckily to go get my parents, but then Anyway, then T-wall pictures.
What did your mom say? Do you have any memories of like what your mom or dad said?
No, I don't even really remember them coming down the hill to get me.
Huh.
I'm sure they did.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
I got my first 2 skinned knees riding a bike in a parking lot, but there was dirt on the side, and I hadn't been warned that if you turned sharply on dirt on top of tar that you were likely to fall or lose stability. And I ended up with 2 skinned knees. Shortly after I learned to ride a bike with no training wheels, my paternal grandfather was there with me for this incident, and I remember him feeling really poorly that he hadn't warned me not to go on the dirt. I remember him saying something to my grandmother like, I should have told her not to go on the dirt. And I swore off my bike for a while after that. I was like, nope, no bike. I'm not riding that thing. I went back to it before long, but your dirt portion of that story, wow. Your dirt portion of that story reminded me of my skinned knees. So there's little...
Skin face, skin knees.
Yeah, skinned things. There are some little throwback stories about younger Brittney and Brandon for you. We are on to some fun facts to share with you. So Brandon invested a little time. He didn't acquire any fun facts just through osmosis.
Well, another
this
banana
week.
fact would have been weird. So.
Do you have another banana fact? How many banana facts can there be?
There's a lot of banana facts.
Do you and your coworker talk about nothing but bananas together?
Casey hates bananas, so I try to take bananas into the conversation as much as possible. Like, he despises everything, like the existence of bananas.
This is also the coworker that taught Eli about spitballs today. And then the two of them, the coworker and our 10-year-old son, proceeded to try to stick pencils into the ceiling.
The suspended ceiling.
Of Brandon's office. This person's, I guess we've said his name already, Casey's office as well. But,
We have one coworker that hates everything about bananas and another person that hates everything about avocados.
You work with some interesting humans. What did Colin say tonight about human? That human that Charlie was talking to?
Oh yeah, Charlie was talking to my sister on the phone.
Because it's Charlie's birthday, as we said. So she was talking to TT. They call Brandon's sister TT. And Charlie had been talking to TT. And Colin, I guess, didn't think to call her TT. And so he came out after Charlie had already gotten off the phone with TT. And he said, I just want to talk to that human that Charlie was just talking to. Love the way he says things. So then he got to have a conversation with TT. And that was very fun for him.
Fun fact.
So yeah, fun fact. Not about bananas.
Correct.
About
Sharks.
Wait, I was gonna do the.
Don't sing Baby Shark.
No, I wasn't actually gonna go there. But that reminds me of band camp. Anyway, we're not gonna go there either. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know the tune right. Help me.
Isn't it just do? No.
You don't quite have it either.
Do.
There you go.
Anyway.
I cannot sing. I cannot carry a tune.
In a bucket.
Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is difficult for me.
And the ABCs.
I can get those. Well,
It's the same tune, Bernie.
yeah, I know. As soon as I said it. Ow! I did what you did. God.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. You look uninviting, unwelcoming, non-welcoming, hostile.
Anyways.
My battery died, but we're
As
back.
we were saying, Twinkle
Facts.
Twinkle Little Star and the ABCs have the same tune.
I can sing the ABCs a little bit better, though, for whatever reason. Fun fact about sharks.
I didn't already say. Oh,
No.
Sharks are 90 million years older than trees.
So another way to
And
say
trees.
that is that sharks precede trees by a lot. Trees. Like sharks existed before trees.
And dinosaurs.
And dinosaurs. But before trees, I don't know. Just sounds...
It's crazy.
It does sound crazy. So...
Sharks are a lot more complex than trees.
They are.
So think about evolution. We don't need
It's-
to go there because that's a whole other...
It's a whole other thing.
Some people, I don't know, beliefs, Anyway.
Science versus...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on.
Anyway, moving on.
That was our fun fact. Did you know that? I didn't know that.
That was our fun fact? That was my fun fact. What's your fun fact?
I didn't prepare a fun fact. You have been carrying us through episodes 1 and 2 with the fun fact. You've done great. I'll try
You
to...
didn't have a fun fact the first time?
Nope. I have yet to share a fun fact.
Brittney.
I'm sorry. I just...
Okay. That's upsetting.
You win some, you lose some.
You go first.
We are now going to ask each other some
Maybe.
tough to answer questions.
Maybe I should go first.
You should go first. I went first last time, and I went first with childhood stories, so it is your turn to go first. What is your question for me?
there's a dollar amount that I'm not sure about. So I'm going to go
That's
extreme.
funny. Mine is about money too. Okay.
Would you?
Hold on, wait. If this is the first if this is the first episode that you're tuning in for, I just want to tell you that we ask each other a tough to answer question, and we do not share our questions with each other prior to filming. So the first time we hear our questions is while we are actively filming. I just felt like that was important.
I'm going to go with $5,000. I can't decide between $5,000 and $10,000. Let's go $7,500. Would you give up $7,500 of your salary to either keep your summers off, meaning you would, if you didn't give it up, you would lose your summers off, or be appreciated by every parent of every student?
Okay, so my two options are
Give up $7,500 for either
either way
keeping your summer off.
Either way I have to give up $7,500.
Yep.
And my two choices for giving that up is one, keep my summers off,
Or two,
and
be
not
appreciated by every parent of every student.
Oh shoot. That's a tough one. Feeling appreciated when you're a teacher is huge. And to help us, if you're not a teacher, to help a teacher feel appreciated, it does not require any financial investment on your part. What I mean by that is you don't need to buy us a fancy gift or a gift card. We love them, but we don't have to have those things. But appreciation can come in the form of just a kind note or a gesture of gratitude, however you would choose to show that. Oh,
there's gonna be a part 2 about this.
a part 2?
Yeah.
We never said that was allowed.
Oh, well, okay. What's your
Okay,
answer
this
first?
is gonna sound selfish, I think. I don't know. I would like to keep my summers off. I value feeling appreciated, but I know my self-worth and I know what I bring to my students as a teacher. And so while I do enjoy feeling appreciated, it isn't a requirement for me to be able to do my job effectively and still positively impact my students. And my summers off, they help me get through this job. They help me be a better teacher because I have a long stretch of time that I can devote to really being invested in my own children's lives and growth. And it's an incomparable. It's an incomparable. I think it's incomparable. Uncomparable?
In sounds right.
It's
Incomparable.
It is.
That sounds in. I mean, that sounds right.
All right, incomparable. Whichever it is. It is an incomparable experience and opportunity to rejuvenate and refresh and go back to my profession that is challenging in so many ways and put my best foot forward as often as I possibly can. And if I were to give up those summers off, while the appreciation would be amazing and would feel really good, I think that my effectiveness with my students would decrease because I don't think I would have the same stamina or drive to be able to continue to give them all of myself and everything that I have to give, because my cup would be empty, as they say. Summer refills my cup to the tippy top. And without that, I don't know what else could get my cup that full. So I'm going to keep my summers off. I will give up $7,500. That's going to stink, but I will do it. And I'm going to keep my summers off. Does that thwart your follow-up question? No. Okay. Well, we've never asked a follow-up question. I say never like we have 72 episodes of this series out. It's only episode
So-
2. But anyway, what's your follow-up question?
Back to the appreciative parents. Would you rather have appreciative parents or not have to deal with parents?
Appreciative parents. Like, are they all appreciative? Because if they're all appreciative, then I'm not going to have to deal with any grouchy parents.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That one wasn't thought out that well. Fine.
Fine.
Whatever.
I'd like them all to be appreciative then. Parents are sometimes the toughest portion of a teacher's job. I'm not trying to throw shade at other parents. I understand that we are trying to be our children's advocate, and it is definitely a role that we should play, because until they are old enough to be able to do that for themselves, we are their biggest advocate. But at times, that isn't always conveyed in the best way. And I have definitely had my own experiences as a mom where I have not come across to my children's teacher quite the way that I had wanted to. So I've been on that side of it too, and I know that sometimes our emotions just get ahead of us. Fortunately, this is kind of related to the question, but fortunately in my career, this is my 11th year as a teacher. I was going to say 4th grade teacher, but I haven't taught 4th grade for all 11 of those years. Total side note, but I was a 6th grade teacher for 9 years prior to becoming a 4th grade teacher, which I've been for the last 2 years. So at this point in my career, I experience less super difficult interactions with parents than I did earlier on in my career. I think that's for a variety of reasons, but I'm just thankful that overall I'm able to see things from a parent perspective and a teacher's perspective, and I think that really helps me to be that connection that we always want between home, students, and school. That's what I got to say about that.
Yeah, the
Okay.
second question was dumb.
It wasn't dumb.
Well, it's just kind of, it wasn't as thought
No
out as.
question is a dumb question.
I strongly disagree.
We're going to end that there. It is my turn to ask Brandon a difficult to answer question. I'm going to caution you to answer carefully. If you could change one thing about me, what would you change?
Your. Oh. Brittney. Your. Oh.
This is a good one.
Yeah, but it's also not fair, though.
Okay, let's add a layer to this.
Okay.
If you could change one thing about me, what would it be? And I will not be angry with whatever you say or
on
offended.
camera.
No, and in real life. This is real. This is about us being real. No,
Okay,
I'm
no,
not going to be
that's not
angry.
gonna
I
change
want
my
to know.
answer.
Okay, all right.
The way I'm just trying to think of an eloquent.
Eloquent.
That's a nice way to say that. An eloquent way.
Do you mean eloquent or less offensive?
No, eloquent.
Oh, okay.
The way you
Brush your
see.
teeth.
Oh, yeah,
You
definitely.
cannot stand the way I brush my teeth.
Brush
We're not-
your teeth like a caveman.
Oh my gosh.
God.
Stop throwing shade. We're not going to talk about the way I brush my teeth.
I should just stick with that one.
Go with
The
your real
way
answer.
you the way that you are sometimes not happy with the way you look.
Okay.
The way you view yourself sometimes.
Hmm.
Does that make a little sense?
Yeah. I'm just over here feeling like that was a very heartfelt answer. Aw.
And the way you brush your teeth, because that is ridiculous.
I have a small mouth.
It's not because you have a small mouth.
It is.
It is not. It is not.
I have nowhere for the toothpaste to go.
You brush your teeth with your mouth open over the sink.
The world of YouTube does not need to know how I brush my teeth. Stop. Oh my god.
You put no effort into keeping toothpaste in your mouth while you brush your teeth.
My mouth isn't big enough. I can't keep the toothpaste in my mouth. I can't. I use an electric toothbrush.
So do I.
And if I take it out of my mouth while it's going, it sprays everywhere. So I can't take it out of my mouth.
It's instant. It's like just a constant stream of toothpaste.
I keep my toothbrush up if we're going there, apparently. I keep
ridiculous.
I keep my mouth up,
the
but then
flashing. The battery's gonna die. So.
No, we can't do this again. We're gonna have to hurry up. All right.
She brushes her teeth like a mammoth.
I don't brush my teeth. Mammoths didn't brush their teeth.
They brush their tusks on trees.
That's nothing like I brush my teeth.
Whatever.
Anyway, I have a small mouth that makes brushing my teeth challenging. Period. End of story. Let's go back to the thing that you said, though.
Not small. What?
Because that was loving. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're saying that you would change the way that the times when I'm viewing myself negatively, you would like to change that so I was not viewing myself negatively?
Yeah.
That was a very sweet answer.
Yes.
Oh. That was very kind.
Brownie points.
I hope you didn't answer that way just to get brownie points.
No.
Okay. Well, I already told you have to. We're working on him seeming inviting and friendly. You need to sit up like you're energized about life, but we're not going to cross our arms. Thank you. That's better. I don't know. That's a little strange, so we're not going to do that either. Okay, we're going to be awkward souls now as we end this episode of the Brittney and Brandon Show.
My head is so much bigger than yours.
Your head is so much bigger than mine.
Like your head is like half the size of mine.
Side note.
Like
our babies had
I
heads
didn't have
like
a beard.
his.
It's my beard. My beard makes my head look a lot bigger.
Our babies had heads like his. They were large.
And bald.
My body is forever changed. That's all we'll say about that. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us on episode 2 of the Brittney and Brandon Show. I hope that you are finding some humor in just our silliness, our realness. We love the heck out of each other. Most of the time we like each other.
Except when we're brushing teeth together.
We really need double vanities in our master bedroom fast, so I can just do my thing with my teeth and
I don't have to
stop judging me. We are also just sharing our parenthood journey, the ups, the downs, the ins, the outs, the goods, the bads. We don't have it all figured out, but that's really the purpose here. We want to hang out with you. We want to share our story, our experiences, and hopefully help you or at least make you laugh. So again, thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode of the Brittney and Brandon Show, please give it a like. Please subscribe so that you will not miss any of our future episodes. We cannot wait to see you in the next one. Bye. Wait, what did I say last time? We can't wait to see you.
Okay.
No, you did that exact same thing last time. Brandon, do better.
Next time. I don't know.
In the next one.
In the next
one. You literally did the same
I'm sorry.
thing. All right. We can't wait to see you.
The next time.
In the next one.
And then the next one. Okay.
We can't wait to see you.
In the next one.
Bye.
Brittney, you're gonna tell me what to
Brandon, we did this exact same thing last time.
Well, who says the next time? Like the sentence is, can't wait to see you again.
No, it's I can't wait to see you in the next one.
Just change it.
No,
again.
I say I can't wait to see you in the next one in all
We'll
of my
change
videos.
what you say.
This is the bee's business. We can't just go throwing
I am
people
also a bee.
Now that I've invited you to be part of the Brittney and Brandon show.
Does the B is for Brittney or B Shard?
We'll never know.
I had 2 B's before you had 2 B's.
I willingly accepted a B from you.
Guess you got me there.